There's been times, I mean, I think the biggest thing with my YouTube, and it was actually one of the videos because I posted a clip to my TikTok for this YouTube video.
Yeah.
I literally was up till 4 a.m, like editing, re-editing, going over clips. And I probably went over shit like 70 fucking times. And I was sitting there and I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, I don't know if this is like funny enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I was getting in my own head. It was 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I was like, clearly not in the right headspace. And then I fucking went to bed, woke up, edited some more, and I was sitting there like looking at the post button. And it was the video was supposed to post in 1 minute. And I was looking at the YouTube video and I'm like, I think it's funny. And at that time, I wasn't thinking about the fact that I literally went over all the jokes like 70 times. So obviously they're not going to be fucking funny to me anymore because I know every punchline, but I wasn't thinking about that. And so I was like, I don't know, like it's, and I was like, and then I finally like 30 seconds before I posted, I was like, you know what? This is entertaining. I'm fucking posting it. Fuck this. I post the clip to TikTok. Don't think anything of it. I go like chill out for a little bit. And then probably like an hour and a half later, I'm like, whatever, I'll look at my phone. And because I was about to go to the gym, so I grabbed my phone, open it up, and that TikTok clip that I posted was already at like 250,000 views. And I was like, what the fuck? And then literally that entire day, I was gaining literally like 1K subs an hour.
That's ridiculous.
On YouTube.
That's crazy.
And I literally I was 30 seconds away from being like, I'm not posting this today.
Yeah.
So I guess, so what I wanted to circle back to was post. Like there's been times on TikTok, like plenty of times where I'm like, this shit is fucking gas. This is going viral, flops like crazy.
Yeah.
Then I'll make some stupid video of me saying absolutely nothing for 60 seconds and it gets 1 million likes. Like you never, like, I mean, there's a point where it's like, I mean, obviously don't post shit content. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is sometimes like, I mean, you're the worst, hypocrite like on yourself. Like I know I am. And so like when I look at something, like even if I'm like a lot of times when I'm like, oh, this is like an 8 YouTube video or whatever, like people will see it as like a 10 or 11 just because I'm making it so hard on myself. So like a lot of times, once again, like if you're posting TikTok videos, if you're like, oh, if you think this one is an 8 or whatever and it flops, but then you think this other one is a 7 and you're like, oh, if the 8 didn't do well, I don't want to post a 7. Well, it's like, no, post the fucking 7 because other people might think it's a fucking, 37.
Yeah,
and they might love it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually, that's way interesting. So I used to make YouTube videos before I started this podcast. I kind of stopped, but yeah, that's something you don't really think about is no matter what you're trying to make. So you come up with the joke initially and you write it down in the script or whatever you're doing because you think it's funny. Initially, you think it's funny because it's the first time you've thought of that joke, heard the joke. But then...
or a lot of times it's...
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You got it.
Oh, I was just going to say that, like, all of my I never necessarily think of a joke for TikTok or YouTube. I actually pretty much just, like, maybe just think of a topic and then run with it. Like, that's what I do with my podcast. So literally, like, 95% of it is just, like, straight improv of just improv comedy. And so really what I'm trying to say is, like, the idea that you have or something, that's why when I was going through that YouTube video, like they were jokes that I made on the spot, obviously, like all the other YouTube videos, but it was just that I watched them so many times that I was like, shit, I don't even know if this is fucking funny anymore. But go ahead. Whatever.
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting at. So we have different styles because yours are definitely improv. It's like you're just cooking in an apron and then driving or just like random situations like that. You just because you have that ability, you could just put yourself in a situation and then stuff will happen and you just crack jokes. When I was making videos, I wrote scripts and stuff, so I'd have jokes written, and then just try and perform them to the camera. And so I would write the joke, and then the whole, like, whatever couple days before I film, I'd be thinking about those jokes. I'd film the jokes, I'd edit them over and over again, like you said. And then after all that, you're just like, that wasn't that funny, after you've heard it that many times. But that first time you heard it, you thought it was funny, or the first time you thought of that.
Exactly.
Like, that's why you said it, that's why you wrote it. And it's that's just something interesting that you don't really think about when you're making stuff. Yeah,
and that's why I think it's tougher online, like doing all this online content. And I definitely think online content and everything like that is 100% the new wave, especially with the whole pandemic and everything. People are realizing that like this shit is like real, and like people are blowing up on TikTok and other places and shit like that. And I think that the main thing is that when you're making content online, you hear the joke. and you like know what it is or whatever, and then before anyone else hears it, like anyone else besides yourself, you then send that to millions of people. Whereas if you're a stand-up comic, you could try a new bit, and if it fucking fails, okay, there was only 100 people at the comedy club that night.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the end of the world, but it's so different. And it's just a lot harder to know, because even when you're stand-up comic, like if you do a joke 30 times but people laugh every time, you're not going to sit there and be like, well, I don't think it's funny anymore. Well, if you don't think it's funny, it doesn't matter. Fucking thousands of other people think it's funny, no matter how many times you do it.
Yeah, that's actually,
so it's different, and it's a little bit more difficult. Yeah,
there's no trial and error on the internet. You kind of just have the joke and you just put it out there and everybody sees it.
Throw it out there and you're like, I hope this one lands.
It's pretty terrifying.